Hello there, this is Retro Spirits Gaiden, and this is SNK 40th Anniversary Collection. This is on Nintendo's Switch console. It's by NIS America, NIS, and SNK, SNK, and Digital Eclipse, who have been responsible for some pretty awful conversions of old retro games to devices, such as the original Xbox. But we'll forgive them for that, as this one is much higher quality. So what we have here is we have a collection of SNK's games from the 1978 to 1990, before the Neo Geo. And included on the cartridge are some bits and bobs scanned in, like design documents, artworks, guidebook. I don't know what the guidebook is, never looked at that. And we have game soundtracks as a specific selection. And this is the list of games. So we've got lots of Ikari Warrior games. We have a couple of platformers. Well, sort of platform shooters, really. We have the home versions and the arcade versions of some games. And here's Victory Road, which is a twin stick shooter with a shouting rock man. This is a class game. I enjoyed this game quite a lot. So your little soldier fella here has infinite grenades and starts with a flamethrower, and he's shooting like little alien fellas, and they squeak. And you can pick up different weapons, such as swords and a suit of armour. It's not really thematically a lot like the original Ikari Warriors, and people kind of slate it for that, but I find it's much more enjoyable than Ikari Warriors. Just my personal taste. Like I say, it's twin stick, so on the Switch you got the old two joysticks. One controls the rotation of the character, the other controls the position on screen, and you've got a fire button which is kind of auto-firing, and looks like a lightning bolt shakes the whole screen and freezes all the enemy characters. Sword is good for prodding, and it fires one bullet every second by the look of it. So yeah, I actually do quite enjoy this game. I do prefer it over the original Ikari Warriors, and that's sacrilege to some people. I don't know why. I think it's because your grenades aren't limited. The enemies are more numerous and less aggressive, which makes it more fun to kill them. And generally, the theme is not so based on reality, which is something I also prefer. Get some weird things going on with this. Every now and again, like a portal to hell will open, which your character, here's one now, which your character can avoid or fall down. And you get to fight a boss character of some description. Pretty cool. It's alright, but they're quite easy to defeat if you've got super grenades and flamethrowers. So hopefully this guy will die fairly quickly. There's a few different boss characters to fight in the pits of hell. This is a three-headed flying beast. But you also get to fight the guy that was goading you at the beginning of the game. So that's quite fun. Anyway, let's talk about the collection in general. So the collection is emulated pretty well. Most games don't suffer from any sort of major graphical problems in terms of things like stretched pixels, which is groovy. I've noticed that the actual compilation does hard reset the console every now and again, depending on which games you play. Usually after the Time Scanners game, Time something. Anyway, that usually coming out of that game crashes you back to the dashboard, which is awkward. So you've got a couple of vertically scrolling shoot 'em ups on this compilation, and both of those are also twin stick shooters. Essentially what you get on here is a couple of scrolling fighting games. You get Street Smart and p.o.w, which are limited and very repetitive, not great games. You get this vertically scrolling shoot 'em up and the precursor to it, Time Soldiers. There we go. Yeah, it crashes sometimes after launching this game. The precursor to that other game is got chunkier sprites and it's also a twin stick shooter. This is a twin stick shooter. I would say 70% of the games on this compilation are twin stick shooters, whether they're shoot 'em ups in terms of spacecraft or little warrior men sort of running up the screen. You've even got a tank twin stick shooter, and if you don't like twin stick shooters, don't buy this compilation essentially. But what this does show you is that SNK's output between 1978 and 1990 wasn't all that. There's a couple of games on here which are... There's a couple of fan favourites on here. Ikari Warriors being probably SNK's standout title of that decade in terms of popularity. This Time Soldiers is fairly difficult, and you can play these with the screen oriented the other way around, so the graphics don't look so shimmery sometimes. This one is the most shimmery out of the games I've played so far. So I've had this compilation for a while, and actually, as I was beginning to say before, a lot of the games on here are just a bit crap. And my standout titles are Victory Road. That's good fun. Search and Rescue, which is basically another twin stick shooter, but it rips off the movie Aliens. So you got alien, like literally xenomorphs from the movie Aliens, which you can shoot, plus zombies. That's kind of fun. Street Smart here is actually pretty shit. The enemy character there who's kicking my ass, you don't get to see his power bar, so you don't know when he's going to die, but you'll start to flash when he's 15 minutes away from death. These matches take a long time. You've got very repetitive moves. You just got a punch, kick and a jump, and some of the moves seems context sensitive. You've got a green shadow. I don't know why that is the case. This is an awful game, and even in the arcade, where you got free credits when I was back when I was a nipper, our arcade accidentally set this to free play one day. It was shit. I just didn't want to play it. I played it for about 5 to 10 minutes, and it was so awful. Never wanted to play it again. There's probably a Street Smart fan club out there that will absolutely flip their lid when they hear that. But all I'm going to say to them is that they've wasted their lives. The other scrolling fighter on this, p.o.w, essentially plays very similarly to this, except it's more... You have a stage with a sort of a beginning and end. You can pick up machine guns in that as well. Oh look, there's an ambulance that isn't drawn in perspective. And there's a lady. She doesn't have a shadow. None of the characters in the background have a shadow either. You can see some of the character portraits here look a bit like Fatal Fury, the original Fatal Fury. So, this one's classic, Search and Rescue. Well, it's not a classic. I've never heard of it before I bought this compilation. But this is definitely a playable game. And you can see that it's got lots of exploding gut monsters in it. So the other games on here which aren't twin stick shooters, you've got Prehistoric Isle, which is a stone cold classic. I absolutely love that game. It's got a great premise, and it plays a lot like Last Resort on Neo Geo, sort of cross between R-Type, Last Resort and Jurassic Park. Can't go wrong with that. This game is the movie Aliens, essentially. I guess this was SNK's response to Alien Syndrome by Sega, or Gauntlet, or something like that. It's got that sort of feel to it. Some of the levels are quite mazy, and you have to kind of get to the exit. It's got a bit of an open world feel to it, actually. You can kind of roam off into the environment, your own route. There seems to be multiple routes to the exit, which is kind of groovy. Simultaneous 2-player as well. But yeah, this game's kind of nice. Well, it feels nice to play. I wouldn't say that graphically it was brilliant. It's got some nicely animated bits and bobs. Other stuff you've got is Beastbusters, which is a Operation Wolf style shooting game, which I did play a bit back in the day in the arcade, and it was fun for maybe 20 minutes. Didn't play it a lot after that. It's difficult to use the controllers with that because it's a light gun shooter essentially. So you're using a joypad here. Psycho Soldier is a platform shooter. Famous, I believe, for having a theme tune with lyrics, and that's about it. It plays a bit like Son Son. You walk along these platforms, just shooting things with electrical bolts. You have... Here we go, here's the vocal track. You have a smart bomb style attack. This isn't that interesting as a game. It does have some nice animation on it, and it's weird that the it is in English, isn't it? It's weird that the song's in English, being a Japanese game, I guess. But anyway, no, this is essentially no good. It goes in it's in the camp of mildly diverting for 5 minutes. It says the title of the game in the theme tune. Love it. And a lot of these games are the same on here. There's some absolute stinkers. There's Mobile Muncher, which is like a car with hands coming out of it. I think it's called Mobile Muncher. It's an awful game. The other vertically scrolling shoot 'em up with the chunky sprites, which I started to talk about earlier, spaceships in it, is crappy. So I mean, depends how much you like Ikari Warriors. Like I said, I don't really like the arcade version of it. It's too fussy. So you've got Ikari Warriors, you have got Search and Rescue, you've got Victory Road, you've got loads of variations on those games. Essentially exactly the same game with different sprites, about 10 times. Then you have this, you have the two beat-em-ups, p.o.w and Street Smart, both of which are slightly tedious. You might get some fun in them in 2-player mode co-op, in p.o.w at least anyway. Street Smart is just, it's not worth the time. And you've got Prehistoric Isle, which is an amazing game. So I'm just trying to think if I've missed anything. This compilation is sort of 40 to 45 quid, or it was when I bought it. It's fairly hard to come by. I don't think I've seen it on the Switch, at least, in many shops. There it is. Ah, oh, beautiful game. It's not worth the money. Absolutely not worth the money, even though this game is amazing. Just conceptually, like the actual conceit of it is brilliant. The gameplay is kind of cool, although it is quite hard. It's a difficult game. Nice soundtrack. I used to play this loads in the arcade. I love this game in the arcade. And it's the main reason I bought this compilation, to be fair. So, yeah, a bit of a waste of money, really. It should have just been an eShop release for this. For about 4 quid, and I'd have been happy. The sequel to this game is very different, Prusa Carl 2. Yeah, the sequel has pre-rendered graphics which don't look... they're not awful, they don't look good, and the gameplay's been changed substantially. And yeah, this is just a better game. So that's groovy. So Neo Geo, sorry, SNK before the Neo Geo, things weren't all that great. You had games like Psycho Soldier. There was one other game on here which may be of interest, which is ASO, which has a Neo Geo sequel. That's a bog standard shooter. It's fine, but it's not something you'd buy the compilation for in any way whatsoever. You do have an RPG on here called Crystallis, which is a NES game only. Not my cup of tea. Some of these games do have NES versions, so games like Ikari Warriors and Tank, there are NES versions of those games available that you can pick from the menu. Some of them are subtly different, some of them more accurate but I guess you could treat them as different games if you wanted to. Meaning the amount of games in this compilation is in the 20s, but that's just numbers for the back of the box. Some of the stuff just really isn't worth your time, and the compilation in general is expensive, so it's up to you. It's up to you, but there's like 3 decent games on here in my opinion, 3 or 4, and that's not worth 40 quid in my book. Alright then, ta-ra.